Good afternoon. This is Assemblywoman Kati Petrie-Norris. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are celebrating the 74th Assembly District's 2021 Nonprofits of the Year and Nonprofits of Distinction. Every year I have an opportunity to highlight, to spotlight, and to honor the incredible work that the nonprofits are doing here all across the 74th Assembly District. And this year we asked for nominations from across the community. We received more than 250 nominations, which I think is just such an incredible testimony to the amazing organizations that make the 74th Assembly District really and truly such a special place to live and to work. And today I'm thrilled to be joined by our 5 nonprofits of distinction and also by our nonprofit of the year, the Pacific Marine Mammal Center, which is based in Laguna Beach. So we are going to spend some time today getting to know these organizations a little bit better, and we'll also at the end talk about ways in which you can get more involved in these groups as well. So to kick us off, would love to just to open it up for introductions. Would love each of our nonprofits to introduce themselves, the organization, and tell us a little bit about the work that you do. And we will go ahead and start with Peter Chang, who is joining us today from the Pacific Marine Mammal Center in Laguna Beach. And Peter, we are really thrilled to have you here, and we're pleased to be able to honor you as the 74th Assembly District's Nonprofit of the Year. Welcome.
Thank you very much. We're very honored. This is a special year for us. It's our 50th anniversary, and so for you guys to recognize us means so much to our incredible team, most of whom are volunteers, so thank you so much. So at the core of what we do, Pacific Marine Mammal Center is a marine mammal rescue and rehabilitation center. We're a marine mammal hospital for stranded marine mammals all throughout Orange County. Our goal is a little bit different than a zoo and aquarium. What we do is we rescue these animals, get them all cured from any disease, infection, entanglement, and getting them fattened up, and we get them back out to the ocean waters to contribute to the ecosystem. And a couple other ways that we leverage that program to make that broader impact. We have a robust education program on site here, and we see up to 15,000 kids a year. We teach them about marine science and conservation and general science programs. In addition to that, we collaborate with different universities and agencies across the country to hopefully get in front of some of these issues that we're seeing, not only with these marine mammals, but with their ocean waters and the ecosystem that we're all a part of. So thank you very much for having us.
Great. And as I had shared with you, Peter, my son was one of the many students who participated in your summer camps, and you just do such a tremendous job of, I think, inspiring the next generation of conservationists and marine biologists, and it's such a special place. And excited we're able to recognize you on the 50th anniversary year as well. And we are also joined today by Andre Roberson and Shawnee Witt from the Power of One Foundation, our nonprofit of distinction for the city of Costa Mesa. And I know you do tremendous work all across the county. So Andre and Shawnee, thanks for being here, and tell us a little bit more about Power of One.
Hi, Ms. Norris. Thank you so much for having us. It's an honor to be here. With the Power of One, we concentrate on food insecurity. And during the pandemic, we were able to do many distributions within your district that were able to help a lot of our community members with food insecurity during the pandemic and even post-pandemic. And for us, Shawnee can explain the other pillars that we also offer within our foundation for support.
Power of One Foundation is focused on essential resources for at-risk areas across Orange County. We focused on food assistance during the pandemic. That was the greatest need that we saw. We did a lot of diaper assistance as well, which was smaller numbers, but very needed. We're excited to be bringing our youth initiative and our women's empowerment initiative alongside our community support initiative, which is what provides our essential resources. So we're excited to be growing in the community and collaborating with other amazing nonprofits. And we're so honored to be working with you and honored by you.
Well, thank you. It has been just such a pleasure to be able to partner with the Power of One on food distributions. And we worked together on our turkey drive. And
Yes.
you really have just, I think, touched so many families and so many hearts, particularly in the midst of this pandemic. So thank you so much for everything that you do. We're also joined today by Autumn Stryer, who is with Miracles for Kids in Irvine. Autumn, thank you so much for being here, and tell us a little bit more about Miracles for Kids.
Well, thank you so much, Assemblywoman, for having us here, and congratulations to everyone that I'm surrounded with. You know, the incredible thing about Orange County is all of the nonprofits we have here. So many of us work alongside each other. So just congratulations to everyone. Miracles for Kids focuses very specifically on families who have critically ill children. These are families who, other than their child's diagnosis and treatment, would be stable. You're talking about families who are working to raise their children, have jobs, moving forward in the community, and then they are thrown an incredible curve when they are told that one of their children is battling a life-threatening illness. That's where Miracles for Kids focuses, and we have since 2004. We focus in very core areas for family stability, and we take a look at the entire family holistically. So we're not just looking at the patient, we're looking at mom, dad, other caregivers, and siblings as well. And I think we've all seen what happens to young individuals when they're isolated, even especially during the pandemic. Miracles for Kids focuses on paying the bills. Our job is to keep a family stable and sheltered. So whether it's something that is an essential bill like rent, utilities, gas in the car, food on the table, that's where our organization and all of our volunteers focus. We also have a housing complex, Miracle Manor, that is located half a mile from Chalk Children's, where we focus on keeping families who are at extreme risk for homelessness from actually ending up on the streets. So we have a long-term housing facility that takes care of those families, and we work to transition them back into independence. We focus on healing. We have a developing therapy program. We have therapists on staff that are focused on anxiety, stress, and depression, especially for our caregivers and our siblings who oftentimes are overwhelmed by the impact of a life-threatening illness. And then we try to feed and clothe. We have quarterly Basket of Miracles programs where our volunteers get together and help us to deliver, whether it's shoes, backpacks, pencils, food, essential items on a quarterly basis, and then a monthly program as well where we've been delivering PPE, mental wellness, and home goods because we have so many family members that haven't been able to get out in the community. That's the core of what we do. It's certainly honored to be acknowledged by the City of Irvine and by this organization, and we're just thrilled to be a part of an incredible county that pulls together to serve so many.
Yes, well, thank you. And I know the work that you do at Miracles for Kids, it really is, it's a godsend. It really is a godsend for families in need. So thank you and your entire team. And we're also welcoming Beth Jackson Pardo, who is joining us from Project Self-Sufficiency in Newport Beach. Hello, Beth. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. This is just hearing about these other programs is so exciting and always wonderful to hear about the good work that's happening in the community. So I'm Beth. I'm the Executive Director of Project Self-Sufficiency. It's a nonprofit that serves low-income single parents. We help those families break the cycle of poverty through higher education. So some folks may not realize that 1 in 5 college students is a parent. And if you can imagine, being a single parent in college is even harder. So the average student in our program is a single mom, 1 or 2 kids, works part-time, goes to community college or a Cal State, and it's a lot, just logistically, emotionally, financially, it's a lot to take on. And so that's why nationally, only 28% of single moms graduate with their degree once they've started. In our program, the success rate is 80%, and we're really proud of that. So the way we do it is long-term case management and financial support until they graduate. So it's emergency rental assistance, scholarships, childcare help, auto repair, workshops, networking opportunities, Christmas gifts for their kids, anything we can do to help them along in their journey and help them not just graduate, but launch themselves into what for most of them is a new career, like nursing. And so it's a long-term program. And so we require them to go through a pretty extensive application process. And then our scholars need to maintain a 3.0 GPA average to maintain in the program. But in exchange, they get support until they graduate, which is a big deal for parents who are at risk of not graduating. So the families in our program, the moms and dads, they come to work in Orange County when they're done. They become your nurses and your teachers and your dental hygienists and your social workers. And research shows that single moms, especially in California, who graduate with a bachelor's degree, they're 61% less likely to live in poverty. They're going to have overall higher incomes over their lifetime, and they're going to contribute thousands more in taxes. So that's why we do what we do, and we're just very grateful to be here and appreciative of the honor. So thank you.
And thank you for joining us. And yeah, some of those statistics are phenomenal. The idea that you're able to move that graduation rate from, you said 28 to 80%. And that's just hugely, hugely transformative. So powerful. We're also welcoming Debbie Waynes from the Wetlands and Wildlife Care Center in Huntington Beach. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I agree with Beth. I'm honored to be part of this amazing group. I am from the Wetlands and Wildlife Care Center. My name is Debbie, and I'm the operations manager there. Like Peter, we rehabilitate, we raise up, rehabilitate, and release back out wildlife. So we do more of not the mammals, but we do more of the other wildlife that's on land. And so that's the difference between us, that seems as though. So I always try to explain it. We're like an emergency room for the wildlife. When there's an instance of an injured animal, or an abandoned baby, we get them, we raise them up, we rehabilitate and release them back out to the wild, so they can be in the natural habitat again. I would say we have like eight staff members, and the rest of it is volunteer based. So over 200 volunteers that help run our facility. We could have anywhere from 500 animals at a time in our facility. It's a great project, super thankful to be part of it, and just thankful to be part of this whole discussion of what we do and why we're here.
Well, and thanks, Debbie. And I think, as I shared with you, we received dozens of nominations for your organization from all across the county. So you're having a big impact. And our final honoree today is AgeWell Senior Services, and we're joined by Steve Moyer. Steve, thanks for being here, and tell us a little bit more about AgeWell.
First of all, thank you very much, Assemblywoman. This is such an honor, and I certainly share Autumn's feeling as far as the tremendous nonprofits that we have in Orange County. And through COVID, I think we became a lot closer. A lot of us had to collaborate to get through all of this. And so, and in working for a nonprofit, I'm CEO of AgeWell Senior Services. You certainly have to have a passion for giving. And I can certainly say that we have that, and we have roughly 500 volunteers in our organization that make us go, enable us to do what we do. We hold the contract for Title III through the Office on Aging, and we are one of 3 subcontractors, because Orange County is divided up into 3 sectors. We have the southern sector. And the services that we provide, we have a congregate lunch that during non-COVID times, we offer in all the community centers in our 400 square mile service area. We're in 9 community centers. In addition, in each of those centers, Monday through Friday, we provide a full spectrum of innovative programs, including educational and physical activities to encourage the social engagement of seniors and their independence. For those that aren't well enough to come to those centers, we provide Meals on Wheels, and those are the neediest individuals that we serve. Many of them don't have family ties, and they are totally dependent upon the 4 to 5 minutes that our volunteers spend with them Monday through Friday, delivering them meals. The other thing that our volunteers do as they deliver the meals, they check on that individual. It's a set of eyes. And unfortunately, because of Mother Nature, eventually, we all get older, and there will be a time from time to time that a senior needs additional need. At that point, the volunteer reports back each day to their supervisor, an age-well employee, and we engage case management at that point. We have case managers that go out and make the visit, identify what that senior needs, and then we bring in all the services and everything that we have at our disposal to help that senior in what their needs are. In addition, for those individuals that are well enough that we can get to the center, but they don't have transportation, we have nutrition transportation. We have a fleet of buses and vans. You've probably seen them out in the area. They're lime green, saying age well. And we will go pick those seniors up at their residence and transport them to the senior center so they can go have a nice lunch Monday through Friday, share war stories, and then we take them home. And then last, but by no means least, we have non-emergency medical transportation. Daily, we serve thousands of seniors as far as trips where we take them to dialysis, we take them to chemotherapy, we take them to doctor's appointment to pick up their prescription. It's got to be medical oriented, but it's non-emergency. And so we're doing that also. So that really is what Age Well Senior Services is in a nutshell.
Great. Well, thank you. I know you do so much for the seniors in our district and all across the county. We know that California's population is aging rapidly, and the work that you do is going to become just ever more critical with each passing year. So thanks for being here.
Our pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
So my next question is focused around the impact that COVID-19 had on your organizations and the work that you do. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic really has, over the course of the last year and a half, touched every aspect of our lives in ways that are big and in ways that are more trivial. But we have all been so impacted by this pandemic. And it really has been an unprecedented crisis that I know has created unprecedented needs in our community in so many different ways. So we just love to give everyone an opportunity to share a little bit about how the COVID-19 crisis impacted your organization, how did it impact the work that you did, and in particular, if there was any kind of silver lining to come out of this crisis. Would love the chance to hear about that as well. Shani and Andre, let me start with you. I think you're muted.
Can you hear us?
Perfect. Yes,
All
it
right.
wouldn't be a Zoom event if that didn't happen at least once, right?
Yeah, so for us with the pandemic, when it came for us dealing with food insecurity, feeding the homeless, feeding low-income families, before COVID, we were averaging 500 to 1,000 families that we were maintaining monthly. Once COVID hit, it automatically increased. And I know that our first distribution, we ended up with a 10-mile line in Santa Ana. But from there, we grew exponentially quick, and started servicing multiple areas and created partnerships. The beautiful thing that came out of it was the fact that the community rallied together, and we amassed over 800 volunteers over this short time frame to be able to support the community. It was very, very hard. It was grueling nights, but the need that was in the community, because you had so many people that lost their jobs. There were so many people that owned businesses that just didn't know exactly where they were going to stand. So in the food insecurity area, to be able to partner with companies like Northgate Markets, the Orange County Fairgrounds, IKEA, Calvary Chapel, Main Place Small, that gave us a larger reach to be able to service more areas, but then also partnering with other foundations and partnering with other churches who some were not necessarily 501c3s, but still had a reach within their section of the community to be able to reach their community. So that was something that was really, really good. And, the silver lining for us was we gained so many valuable relationships, like your relationship. Assemblywoman, you were out there putting boxes and turkeys in the cars with us. And, we saw that it brought the best out of humanity during a time when everyone was feeling unsure. So that was really great.
I think you are so right. And I know in moments when I think things felt the most bleak, that really was the silver lining for me as well, was seeing the ways that so many people just looked at this moment of crisis and said, okay, how do I help? Like, we're going to get through this. How can I play a role in helping my neighbors and helping my community? And that certainly, I think, just renewed my hope each and every day.
Absolutely.
And Autumn, tell us a little bit about Miracles for Kids and how you navigated the COVID-19 crisis.
I think we can all say that 2020 was an opportunity to learn about those we serve and what they need the most. For us, our families already had a critically ill child. So, on any given day, we're serving about 1,500 individuals. We keep about 300 families on our roster for 3 to 4 years ongoing. So listening to the impact of the fear of going outside because their child was already sick and the impact of what that would do to them, we had to learn how to take care of families who 59% of them lost their job, 42% of them were either evicted or at risk for eviction. We had to relearn how to communicate. I think the silver lining in that space is that we learned through phone banking, emails, text, and any other way that we could find our families, how we could best help when all of a sudden our families were battling just how to stay stable if you can never leave your home. You can't even get to the hospital because your appointments or your surgeries are canceled. So for us, we had to figure out how to bridge the communication gap. Thank goodness for technology. We were able to do those things while working from home, working from here at the office. We really just went on overdrive 7 days a week, trying to talk to our families. So the silver lining is that for one. And then the second one is because we weren't able to gather, and similar to everyone else, we have between 500 and 1,000 volunteers in any given year helping us with delivery programs for food. But we also have surf and paddle programs that we operate every summer at Huntington Beach, at Newport Pier, and then down at Baby Beach. We weren't able to bring our kids and our families outside to get out of the hospital, to benefit from a day outside, to get a moment away from their realities. So one of the things that we did do, and Peter was core to this, is we started sending our families over to Pacific Marine Mammal Center, and they were able in individual groups to get a moment away from home. And I think that goes back to the importance of us all working together. Like everyone else, we made a lot of new friends. We survived a lot. And the inspiration, honestly, of our families, on our staff and volunteers, the videos, the photos of just how important it is to have support when they couldn't find it anywhere else. I mean, that's the silver lining times 100 right there. So it was an extraordinary year in challenges and in blessings for us.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I love that connection, and that you all were able to work together to try to fill some of that enormous need. So Peter, I'll turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about your experience over the last year and a half.
Yeah, so it really kind of hit in two main areas that kind of ring on the top of my head. One was staffing. So as many of my peers here mentioned, we're mostly run by volunteers. Many of our volunteers were either in that early vulnerable population with the pandemic, or they were taking care of people that were in that vulnerable population. So we wanted to make sure that they were staying at home, being safe, being in a comfortable area. But the reality was that reduced us to a very slim down staff. And so we had to have double shifts and triple shifts, and everyone stepped up, which was amazing. But that was really one of the big impacts. The other thing is our earned revenue streams shut down. Our visitor yard closed on March 8th. Our education center closed as well. And so we had a large portion of our revenue stream shut down. Fortunately, like so many other nonprofits, we were able to lean on our donors and the foundations that were really sensitive to our situations with the pandemic and really stepped up. And so many silver linings, but the one that sticks out was, our ability to kind of leverage the technology, leverage the Zoom, and creating much more of a reach for education programs. We were almost 100% a local organization in terms of our reach with the children. But now we serve people in many different countries, let alone states, with our interactive programs, including 13 children's hospitals across the country. So we're really happy with that, and we're going to continue to do that even after the pandemic.
That's great. That's tremendous. And Steve, tell us a little bit about AgeWell's journey over the last year. I know you serve a population that has been incredibly impacted by.
I've been through a lot of challenging things in my life, but the challenges that came to our organization were fast and furious. And I'll tell you that the support received from the various cities, support from government, Orange County, state, and national government was just tremendous and really essential to get us through everything. What happened when Governor Newsom spoke and told that seniors, the vulnerable part of our population, for them to stay home because it was the best thing for them to do. Seniors did stay home, and our job instantly became to get food to them. And these were people we didn't even know. We really didn't even know where they lived. And to all of a sudden change from, pre-COVID to full-on COVID, my staff worked every day in their particular sites and here in our office. And the thought of that we are essential emergency operations, and that if we don't get food to those seniors, they don't eat, and particularly during this period of time. And if you can imagine all of that happening at a time where we don't even know what PPEs are, and our transportation drivers are coming into contact with seniors, helping them in and out of their bus chair. They're going to chemotherapy. Some of them are going to the doctor that are sick. and we don't have PPEs the first couple of days. And if you just can imagine all of that happening at once, I'm actually 22 years old, and as you can see, it took its toll. But no, in all sincerity, everybody chipped in to help. There's some major nonprofits that obviously I have relationships with the CEOs, and they stepped up and brought us just free PPEs, and anything we asked for, we got, and we were able to get through that. Once things started smoothing out, more and more programs came out, such as Great Plates, and we were asked to administer that. We served in a very short time, 8 months, we served over 1 million meals just in that program alone. We served home delivered meals, about 600,000 during COVID. And that's in addition to taking care of our regular Meals on Wheels people that are the most fragile. Case management made the porch calls and made the phone calls every day as far as the isolation. I think, needless to say, senior isolation and others of you have already spoken about that. The isolation factor is something that I think we're going to have to be dealing with for some time as things are opening up. Although I don't know how long they're going to be open with the new viruses coming into play and the numbers increasing, which could be problematic. But we, in the end, we got through it with no disruption of services, which I'm very, very proud of. And many players on our team work 7 days a week to do that. And but anyway, in the end, very, very proud of the way that our organization performed, along with obviously all of these that are here today. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at times it sort of did feel like we were sort of living through this disaster movie when it just sort of kept unfolding, and there's this new challenge and this new crisis, and it's kind of phenomenal. I agree. There are some concerns as we see these new variants arising, but as long as we can continue to boost our vaccination rates, I think that we will have arrived at the end of the disaster movie and reached that light at the end of the tunnel. Beth, tell us a bit about Project Self-Sufficiency and the experience of your clients and how you helped them navigate the last year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm hearing everybody share, I'm reminded that, for those of us in these helping professions and nonprofit world, it's really hard to watch our clientele suffer. I mean, I think everyone's going through a tough time, but it's particularly hard on the low-income families in our communities. The students in our program, they were already going through a lot as single parents in college. Most are first-generation college students. A lot of them are survivors of domestic violence. All have very, very low incomes. And so during COVID, many lost work. Their childcare situations either became very challenging or were non-existent. And not only did they have to tackle their own online education as college students, they also had to take on the challenge of their children's online schooling. And doing that as a single parent was just an incredible task for them to have to undertake. So one of the things that we had to make some hard decisions. Normally we have a scholarship opportunity we offer each year to our scholars. And so last year we converted those funds to emergency grants for families to really just respond quickly, no long essay, just we're going to get the funds to the families that need it and as quickly as possible. We're really proud to have been really responsive during the pandemic. So we listen to our families and hear what they need. And one of the challenges we heard was the technology. They need laptops, they need tablets, their kids need laptops and tablets. And I think the school districts in the area have worked really hard and the colleges have worked really hard to fill that need, but we're there to fill in the gaps. So there's not a delay and the education can continue without disruption. Most of our students have stayed in school this year throughout COVID. And since COVID, we've had about, I think, our students have earned about 30 different degrees, from associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and a couple of teachers' credentials. I think seeing the community step up, I think that's been a common thread I'm hearing from everyone. But it's really true. Watching the different groups in the community, watching the different volunteers and staff just say, okay, we're going to deal with this. We're going to get creative. We're going to be flexible, and we're going to meet the need the best we can to help families in the community. And that's just been, again and again, I've been so touched and surprised and overjoyed to see the response from the community that we are coming together. We're going to make things happen, even when we're tired. We got kids at home behind us on the Zoom calls. Like, it's been tough for everyone. So I'm just really proud of the community. Thanks.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to hear that most of the folks that you work with have been able to stay in school despite, as you said, what has just been really, really tremendous set of challenges. So that is definitely a silver lining. And Debbie, tell us about your experience. I know you said that most of your folks are volunteers. Obviously, that would have been a challenge over the last year and a half.
It was 2020 was a learning experience. I think we could all attest to that. A year of the pivot is how I explain it.
Yeah.
The one thing that there were a couple really big aha moments. One of which is that the wildlife animals did not get the memo that there's a pandemic out there. So that did not stop them from coming in. And then with people home, because they didn't get the memo, the people who were home, they kept seeing these wild animals and bringing them in. So in return, we got a huge amount of animals that came in last year because people were home and seeing movement in their backyard and saying, let's bring them in. So it was definitely a learning experience, like being able to have people on the phones at all times, as much as possible, to be able to say, it's big enough to be self-sufficient, go put it back, or walk away from your backyard until 4 o'clock. Let's see if it's still there. It was a really interesting year of navigating the people who were home and the wildlife that's generally, peek their heads out during the day when people are gone. So that was interesting. Never considered myself an essential worker until 2020, whereas we still had to care for wild animals. We never shut down. We stayed open 365 days a year, 7 days a week. We never shut down. All volunteers, that was interesting as well to kind of navigate through that. Working with the CDC and getting information from them. How are our volunteers allowed to be there? What it came down to is saying that our volunteers were essential volunteers, so that worked. So it was just an interesting time. We do have elder volunteers as well as younger volunteers, and so we absolutely, open the door to say, if you're not comfortable, don't come in. We provided PPE to everybody. We made sure everybody was masked up, and that we provided that when they came in. So it was a huge learning experience. And I think the part that was probably the hardest for us through navigating it all was we couldn't do our fundraisers. And because we're a nonprofit, it was like there was no, that's our income, is through fundraisers. And so for an entire year, we couldn't do our major fundraisers. And so trying to navigate through that and not sounding needy to the public, but needing the public was an interesting task to do. And so we, like everybody else, we got on the Zoom train and did a couple of fundraisers via Zoom, but really kind of did a bunch of networking, which was profound for us because we were able to touch different areas of the community and really explain who we are and what we do. And our donors and our community and the community that we've had and our new community really stepped up for us and helped us in a financial way. And yeah, it's been an amazing year, to be honest with you. It was hard, but we learned a lot, and I think we grew a lot as an organization. And yeah, really proud of how we handled it, and through the daily pivots that had to be made. I think we did a really good job in doing that.
Right.
And sustained ourselves financially and with the influx of animals that we got. So yeah, proud of us, proud of it, how that happened.
And I've got just one last question before we wrap up, and Debbie, I'll actually start with you and then turn it over to everyone else. So for folks watching at home, listening, how can they support the work that you're doing? How can they get involved with your organization? How can they help move your mission forward? And
Great.
Debbie, I'll start with you.
It's a great question. And definitely there's so many ways you can help our organization. One, you can always volunteer. And that, we always need volunteers. There's never nothing to do in our facility. So we always need more volunteers. And so, and then obviously financial donations is also a big ask. And that is, you can always go through our website and our social medias as well. And it gives our mission and what we're doing and how we're doing it. Being a nonprofit, financial donations it's imperative, as we all know here. It's how we survive. So to have those financial sponsorships is huge. And so my ask is, if you're interested in being part of the project, to volunteer, and if you would like to give financially, to definitely consider that as well. And if you go to our website, www.oc.org, you can find our information.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. And Steve, if folks want to get involved with AgeWell Senior Services or help support your work, how can they help?
Well, first of all, we are expanding, Assemblywoman. We have an aggressive fiscal year that we've just entered, and we're looking to expand transportation into other cities and do even more. Expanding case management, we're totally reorganizing that part, and obviously expansion of the Meals on Wheels program. Our situation is that we are like all other nonprofits, and we have to fundraise. And so people can go to our website, which is myagewell.org. And on that, you'll see a variety of opportunities as far as volunteering. We actually have an application. We're always in need of volunteers. Actually, we're going to be opening a minimum of 3 new sites in different cities this year. So we need staff for that. Also, we're currently really in need of drivers. So in the event that somebody has that talent and would like to drive in our transportation program, that would be great. And then, of course, there's information as far as our total mission on there. And if somebody would be so generous and want to donate, by all means, we certainly would appreciate that. Thank you very much. And again, thank you very much for having us on this. We feel honored.
Well, and thanks for joining us. And really, we're pleased to be able to honor the tremendous work that you do all across the county. And Autumn, how can folks help Miracles for Kids? How can they get involved?
So as we enter the second half of the year, our focus is really on back to school for our families. We have about 1,500 children that are getting ready to go back to school. And as we all know, that's a huge drain on your family resources. And that's without having a child battling an illness. So when it comes to that, we're getting ready for our big back to school Basket of Miracles drive. So items coming into the office, we're talking pencils, pens, backpacks, shoes, shirts, everything you can think of that a young person would need, we're collecting. So we're collecting for back to school, but then we're also preparing for the holidays. We're already launching our Adopt a Family holiday program, where we will have individuals, companies, and groups like NCL and Boy Scouts come together to purchase items, Tonka trucks and Xbox and you name it, for every single one of our 350 families. It's a huge drive that we do. We'll individually wrap, and we'll have all of our volunteers deliver those throughout Southern California, so that somebody opens a door and sees a wonderful face smiling for the holidays. So we're looking for all of that support, plus our monthly Box of Miracles, where we ship items that are needed every day at your home to all of our families. So whether it's an in-kind donation, whether it's an hour of your time or $1 that you have to give, you can reach us by going to www.miraclesforkids.org. Love to hear from you, and thank you so much for the opportunity to share the information.
And thank you, Autumn, and to your entire team at Miracles for Kids for
Thank
everything
you.
that you do. Beth, tell us how can folks help you at Project Self-Sufficiency?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different opportunities. We have volunteer opportunities where folks can help with some of our client events and donation drives. We have a new career mentor program where community members can be matched with a scholar in our program to assist with resume review, interview prep, career advice, things like that. What else? I mean, right now we have a wait list of families who want to get into the program. And so in order to bring more families into this network of support, we have to fundraise, right? So one of the things we're doing is we're having a Sunset Social, which is our little fundraiser at the Newport Dunes next month on Sunday, August 15th. It's going to be kind of beachy casual, not like a formal gala. There's going to be tiki torches and a photo booth and s'mores. Get to hear from some of the families in our program. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also collecting right now gift cards for new school clothes for the kids in our program. We polled our families, you know, what would be the most helpful for back to school. And that was the #1 response, that the kids want new clothes to start school. And if you can imagine being a kid starting the new school year, having to wear old clothes, it takes a toll on your self-esteem. So we're trying to support them in that way. But you can learn more about us at our website. It's pssoc.org. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Andre and Shani, tell us a little bit about how we can help with Power of One.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of exciting opportunities as we continue through the rest of this year. Because of the need that we cared for during 2020, we ended up feeding 2.8 million people during the pandemic in a 14-month timeframe. 500 cars in 4 hours in our drive-through distributions. So we grew exponentially. So we are looking to move into a larger warehouse. So we have some awesome online fundraising campaigns that some are launched, like our back to school drive, and some will be available shortly this week and next week for our warehouse and a second truck. So some exciting things where people can really know where their funds are going and they can rally behind certain causes with Power of One. So we're excited about that as far as gathering financial support for specific needs to continue filling the need that is still there in Orange County. The pandemic, we're trying to move out of it, but the impact of the unemployment going to 18% overnight, there's still a lot of residual impact for the low-income families in the county that we're really passionate about still providing that food assistance and other resource assistance that is still very needed. Along with that, we have volunteer opportunities as we continue our food distributions, diaper distributions, and you can stay tuned with all of that. We're very active on our social media, on our website, on Facebook, Instagram. We're Power of One Foundation on Facebook and Instagram. That's also our website, powerofonefoundation.org, POWWER, not two W's, www.powerofonefoundation.org. So we're very active. We keep everything updated on all those platforms. And then we also have some specialty events that we're a part of. Do you want to talk about some of those?
Because this year marks the 20th anniversary for 9/11. So we've been commissioned to do a concert on Camp Pendleton for 2,000 Marines. And so we want to mark the commencement of 9/11 and show a moment of silence during all the moments of impact that happened on 9/11, but then also to creating a reunited states, reuniting everyone as we look forward to open up. And then we have our trunk or treat, we have our Thanksgiving turkey giveaway, and then we raise toys for kids within our community. We were able to do 3,000 toys during the pandemic. And just to correct one thing she said, it's not 500 cars within 4 hours, it was 5,000 cars within 4 hours that we would
It was
help.
5,000, yes.
So, but all of these things, and we can't do it without the community. The community blessed us last year financially. So for us, the growth that we had, we're in need of a new warehouse and trucking space. So as all the other nonprofits said, donations, fiscal donations really, really help us expand our vision. But most importantly, we really want the community to continue to volunteer with us so they can continue to unite to create a difference in another community member's life.
And one more thing I'll add is the collaboration aspect that some of the nonprofits on this call have already discussed. But we were really excited with the shift in Orange County of that mentality of collaborating. And we really want to be at the forefront of continuing that, filling the gaps of the needs in our county together and communicating and partnering where we can meet needs together is more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so, so critical. And like you said, it was tremendous to see the way that folks came together to do just that, particularly in this moment of real panic and crisis. It was pretty incredible. And finally, Peter, tell us a little bit about how folks can get more involved with the Pacific Marine Mammal Center as you celebrate your 50th anniversary.
Well, thank you. I think above all, we would just love to have people come and visit. Our center's open now 7 days a week. It's free of charge from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Everyone who comes, unless it's crazy busy, they're going to get met and greeted by one of our volunteer education docents, and they're going to get taken on a guided tour. We'd love to have you come after being closed for about a year from the pandemic. We'd love to have everyone come back, come not only see our marine mammal patients, but see our team in action. It's an incredible team here, very passionate. Some of these volunteers have been here 10, 15, 20 years. It's the most amazing thing. We'd love to have you come and see everything. And if it so touches you here, you'll have the opportunity to donate to our annual fish drive. The amount of fish that these animals consume every year comes up to about $100,000. And so we're in the we're in the midst of our annual fish drive. And if that's something that you can help with when you're here, that'd be great. But above all, come and visit. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And thank you to everyone who joined us today for spending a little bit of time with us, but more importantly, for all the work that you and your teams do. We really do have a tremendous network of nonprofits here in the 74th Assembly District and all across the county. And we know that this network is powered by the incredible commitment and dedication and just devotion of your network of volunteers. So to everyone who was able to join us online, thank you for being here. And if you're interested in getting more involved or supporting these incredible organizations, we'll go ahead and share all of that contact information as part of the Facebook feed. Thank you so much for joining us, and God bless and good night. Thank you.